Okay, you know about him, how he operated. Gift of the word of knowledge, tremendous. Gordon Lindsay said he had seen him give words of knowledge thousands of times and never once knew him to miss it on any detail. Thousands of times. He was the type, if you're not familiar with him, he'd say, excuse me, right back there on the third aisle, would you come up here? Yes, you. Okay, the woman in the red outfit. Now, on your way over here, you were riding in a black 49 Ford. You were sitting in the back seat, your husband sitting in the front seat, and you had this conversation where you told your husband what your doctor said. Now, your doctor's name is such and such, and he lives at this address on this street in this town. And by this time, the lady said, you know. And then he didn't have a gift of healing. He had the gift of the word of knowledge. And he'd say, now, if God knows enough about you and cares enough about you to tell me that about you, don't you think he cares enough about you to heal you? That's why go on. Just go your way and be healed. She'd walk off. She'd be healed. He didn't have a gift of healing. He had a word of knowledge. But the word of knowledge raised her faith to where she could grab a hold of the healing and get it. You can take any one of the 9 gifts and get somebody healed. Any one of them. Just operate in your gift. You don't have to have a gift of healing to get it done. That gift of healing works real good. What is a gift of healing? You'll find if you have a gift of healing, if you, for instance, in an area, say like cancer, if everybody you pray for with cancer gets healed, you got a gift for healing. For cancer, okay? Now, you may not have a gift of healing for epilepsy, but you do for cancer. That's the way it works. Now, you can have the gift for epilepsy too. You can have the gift for any disease. Jesus said he gave them power to heal all manner of sickness and disease. So that's a possibility, and you should go after it. Now, you take William Branham, that kind of gift of the word of knowledge. Then you take, for instance, right now, and I hate to mention a name because then it's kind of like comparing and putting one person down. And I hope you know that's not my intention. I'm just trying to show you a difference in the operations of the gifts. You take someone now that's on television like Richard Roberts, going forward, operating in the gift of the word of knowledge. He'll be sitting there, and you've probably seen other people say, okay, there's someone here that has a pain in their lower left back. Okay, well, first off, in a crowd this size, that's a pretty safe bet, okay? You don't have to be real brave to speak that one out, okay? But Richard Roberts will be sitting on TV and he'll say, okay, right now there's one with a headache, migraine headache. Right now, Jesus wants to heal you. Now, what is the difference between that gift and the gift William Branham had? Well, it's the same gift, word of knowledge, if it's accurate and true. The difference is the proportion of faith being operated. William Branham had a greater proportion of faith in operating his gift. He was more developed in it. If Richard Roberts will push forward and not get scared and not back off and not be afraid of making mistakes, but will stretch himself, he can do the same thing because his proportion of faith will increase. You see that? It works that way in every gift. You want, see, here's something you got to learn about healing. You want the gift of healing, or you want healing to be fully manifested like a full-grown tree. You want to walk over and snap your fingers and the tree go, and it don't work that way. Jesus said, everything in the kingdom is as a seed. You plant it and it grows. If you have a gift, most of you won't even know if you have a gift because you haven't even tried it. How are you going to try it? How are you going to find out if you don't even try it? But even if you do have a gift, it'll be as a seed. Your gift of healing, your gift of prophecy, or anything else will not be in fullness in you. You have to develop that gift. You have to bring an increase, Jesus said. And as you plant that seed and you step out and you do it as a seed form, you may just get 1 out of 100 healed. But bless God for that 1, that's important. Amen. And you might be looking at the 99, but that 1 is important. Well, you keep doing it, you keep stretching forward, you keep studying, you keep getting hungry after faith and after healing, and you go after it and you say, bless God, I'm going to get this, I'm going to have this. And then all of a sudden you get 2 out of 100. Well, now you pray for 200 and you only got 2. That's 198 that ain't got it, but it's still 2 that did. And you keep stretching, and all of a sudden now you got 3, and then you get 4, and it'll grow, and pretty soon you get a whole tree, and you're getting everybody healed. You're getting everybody healed. That's the way it works. Everything works that way. Now, if you want me to say, okay, I guarantee you when you start, everybody's going to get healed. I can't do that. Go on, don't waste my time. Because all you're looking for is fame and photographs going off, and because you want to be the man of the hour. You want to be somebody. And that ain't what this is about. You think about this. Whenever you go up to the hospital, really what I like to do is I like to get a few people together, go to a hospital, go to a VA hospital or something like that, and go into the emphysema ward and just make them stand there and watch somebody die. Because if you've ever been in one and you watch them and they're sitting there wheezing and you can hear the death rattle in their throat, and you start thinking about this and you say, now, if you'd have been right with God to the degree that the power of God was working in you, that man wouldn't have to die. And all of a sudden it becomes real. Let me tell you, the first time I had to walk into a room when they said, be sure to wash your hands when you come out because what they've got is contagious. You have to decide right then if you really believe this stuff or not. And you have to decide, kind of like, oh, contagious, did you say? Well, Jesus prayed from a distance. I think I feel that anointing coming on. Okay? But you have to walk and you have to decide, because if you act in fear, you're done beat. But you have to decide, you know what? I'd rather die believing and going forward than to live doubting. Wigglesworth said that. I agree with him 100%. I'll walk, somebody tells me, oh, don't go in there, it's contagious. Bless God, I got to walk in there now. I ain't backing off. Because I've already hurt the devil too many times. If I back off, he'd kill me that quick if he could. I can't back off. There's nothing to back off to. We are having great success with cancer. Great success. And one thing I've noticed about all the healing evangelists that I've studied, almost every one of them died from the thing that they had the greatest success with. Almost every one of them. Why? They get tired of fighting. And when they get tired and back off, the devil rushes in. You can't do that. You have to find out what you're afraid of and go right on into it. You blast around and say, bless God, kill me if you can, devil, but I know you can't. I was in one church one time and I told them, you know what? And I was feeling especially rambunctious. And I was preaching hard to them, and I said, you know what? I have to set my own faith to raise myself from the dead, because I know if I stepped out here and got hit by a car, all of y'all would stand around and go, well, I guess it was his time to go. Okay? But it's true. But you have to go after this thing. But it's available. Now, he says, or ministry, let us wait on ministry, and that word wait doesn't mean to wait. Actually, the word let us wait isn't even in the Greek. Okay, it's not even there. Somebody else put that in there. Or ministry on ministering. Or he that teacheth on teaching. Or he that exhorts on exhortation. Or he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence. He that shows mercy with cheerfulness. Then he goes on. He says, let love be without dissimulation. And then he goes, I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously. But he says, going down. Now, notice in verse 20, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Well, that goes in all ways, not just in being nice to people. Overcome evil with good. Now, that is why, get a hold of this. This is why the healing rooms work. That's why I like them. There's no show. There's not, when you're praying for people, everybody has to stand around and watch, okay, waiting for the man of faith to do something, okay? There's none of that, because you don't realize what pressure that puts on that person. And that when they ought to be focusing on God, they're focusing on everybody looking at them. We had that happen here already that I know of, okay, because they told me, please don't pray for me right now. They told me that. Why? Because everybody's watching. Now, what happens is, the healing rooms, people come in like a doctor's office. It's set up that way. They come in, you pray for them. If they get healed, great. If they don't, you tell them come back tomorrow or whenever you can set it up. They come back. They keep coming back until they're well. They keep coming back. You keep laying hands on them. You say, well, that doesn't make sense. Why not do that? Jesus had to lay hands on a man twice. So laying hands on a person twice is not wrong, or more than twice is not wrong. Now, laying hands on somebody, Peter said, what I have, such as I have, give I thee, right? The Bible says a man can only give what he's received. Whatever you've got, he said you've been given a gift differing according to the measure of grace, to the gift of grace that's been given to you, right? So you have a measure of grace that has been given to you that you can operate by faith in your gift. Every time you operate in a gift, you still have to step out in faith. Every time. Faith is always going to be there, which means there has to be the opportunity to not have faith, which means there's an opportunity to doubt, which means you have doubts and the thoughts, what we call doubts, in your head every time you start to do it. But you have to overcome those and step out and do it anyway. Because if you back off, that's when you doubt. Not when you have the thought, but when you back off. That's doubting. Having a thought is not doubting. We talked about this already. Didn't hear it? Get the tape. Now, you lay hands on the people and you give them whatever you've got. And then you step back.